Hi, and welcome to yet another episode of Let's Talk. In today's episode, we'll be speaking to Senior Financial Advisor Raphael Joseph, where we will be discussing topics such as finance, investments, and savings, especially at a time like this during a pandemic. Hi, Raf, and welcome to Let's Talk. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm okay, Leah. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Well, today we want to touch a little bit on financing and investment, especially in a pandemic. So we want you to share some insights with people who may be interested on knowing how to go about saving and some of the steps and some of the saving methods that you think would be, let's say, reasonable at a time like this.
Well, first, let me start by saying that Trinidad, as well as the rest of the world, has been faced with a global crisis by the means of the COVID pandemic and all its strains. And it has affected everyone, from the small man to the businessman, and everyone would have had to pivot out of this turbulent time. Now, I mean, on everyone's mind is what's the next best step? How am I going to survive the next fiscal year? What am I going to be investing in? What am I going to be saving towards? And these are all crucial questions when trying to navigate this rough seas. And I mean, there are many philosophy that you can, count on. There are plenty rule of thumbs that you could try to develop and try to practice. But I would say what works for me is the 70-30 rule, where I give, on the 30 side, I give away 10% of my income to charity, then another 10 to paying bills and stuff, and then the last 10% to investing in what could make me a decent return. And of course, the 70% will be disposable income, where I could, live and carry about my everyday activity. So that's the 70-30 rule. I think that's the most basic savings plan that anyone can adopt. As I said, on the 30% side, you give charity, then you pay, your bills and any kind of debt that you may have, and then the last 10% you invest in something that could earn a return for you. And we want to talk about something that can give you what we call compound interest. Something that once you invest, you gain on your investment, and you also gain on your capital gains over a short-term to a long-term period.
Yeah. So in terms of, let's say, someone who is working right now, what are some of the wise investments strategies that you think they could venture into?
I definitely think that the easiest thing would be retail. So say for instance, let's say for instance, toilet paper, something as simple as toilet paper or slippers or soup, right? You buy low and you try to, market to your particular audience through Facebook, Instagram, and sell over high. Obviously, you want to try giving discounts, probably garage sales, import substitution. That's by means of you're ordering products online and selling it over at a decent markup. I think that's one of the best retail models that there is. Food, everyone loves to eat.
Yeah.
right? Um, there are so much things, but I guess in order for you to find something, you need to have a passion to do it. Obviously, a lot of persons who unfortunately sent home due to the COVID pandemic, and I think on the good side or on the flip side, it has been a blessing because those persons probably were forced to come up with creative means of earning an income. And I think once persons develop these ideas, they would be they would start a new foundation for the economy to help build back the economy to where it once stood. That US and Forex is an issue due to the falling prices of the oil and gas. Mm-hmm. However, I think Trinis are resilient and creative. During the pandemic, you would have seen an upsurge in online companies. There are so many that I could call. I'm talking about like Planting Seeds of the Caribbean. I'm talking about online sushi delivery companies, food drop. I remember during the pandemic, whilst I was working home, most of my bills went into food drop because I couldn't go to the grocery, mm-hmm. And this thing was novel. We didn't really understand how it was being spread, and a lot of these mobile services would have helped, mm-hmm. And because they were so creative, they were able to find that niche and that need for persons who would have counted on me being one. And I would have definitely, it would have definitely helped me survive, during that crucial time.
And in terms of insurance, like creating a life insurance for yourself, simply a simple health insurance.
Yeah, we would have seen that most insurance companies would have definitely added to their top line. They would have performed really well during this time. Hats off to the insurance agents. I particularly work at Guardian Group of the Caribbean, not as an insurance agent, but I actually work under the Guardian asset management arm of the business. We deal strictly with portfolio and wealth management. I'm a senior investment advisor at Guardian Asset Management, and Guardian Life of the Caribbean would have done really well with its clients and prospects in offering them insurance services, annuities, and life and health plans. We actually have some of the best group plans in the Caribbean and individual plans. So it's something that at this time is crucial and necessary because tomorrow isn't guaranteed. I mean, it hasn't hit home for me personally now, knock on wood. But I hear, stories all around me that persons are, directly affected. And, I want to say condolences to all those who would have lost loved ones in this pandemic. And I think that, taking out a life and health plan at this moment is actually crucial because you could never know, today you're good, tomorrow you might need, that cushion of cash. And that support to help with, medical bills and expenses. So I was saying that it is something that we will all need during this point.
When it comes to insurance, what are some of the things that people should take into consideration when looking at taking out insurance for themselves?
When taking out insurance for themselves, I think persons should. Are you referring to what kind of, could you repeat the question one more time?
When coming to taking out insurance, let's say you work for like $5,000 and you want to take out a sustainable insurance, what are some of the things that one should consider when looking at that?
I think, now, that is a question for the experts. I'm not an insurance agent, but from layman terms, I think one should try to evaluate where they are in life. their age, any kind of health and risk factors that they may be experiencing at that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, the agent will have to guide them as to, what can benefit them and their families, what kind of coverage they would feel comfortable taking, because there is a whole suite of solutions and options that a Guardian Life Insurance agent can give. And I think it's the individual that is actually in front of them. So I think there's a lot of factors that may have to be considered before anyone could take out a coverage, because there's no set solution for any group or one individual. We will have to meet your need, and we will have to assess you before actually making an assessment on what it is you need for, insurance or a plan or an annuity. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, when, for example, seeing that it's a pandemic and stuff, do you think now is a wise time for people to start investing?
I believe so, because at the end of the day, a lot of persons have underutilized funds at their disposal. Most of my clients, I would say, are really, 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 really hesitant and adamant to invest in this time. However, most see the light at the end of the tunnel, because I think the economy will become buoyant again, and they too believe that, and they are looking for options. I mean, although they may not want to even consider investing today, because of the knowledge that most businessmen have in Trinidad, they either would want to, see their funds work for them in the real estate markets, or, the stock exchange, or into some mutual fund. And that's the kind of mindset that you should have in order to become, financially wealthy, or to have, some level of cushion for the next turbulent time. Because, I mean, if you were to talk, our jargon, we tend not to have, or not to want to have money sitting, just in the bank. We want to have our monies working for us. And in the most or the smallest way you can have that done is by investing in a mutual fund, and to have your money earning interest while you sleep, and that's the name of the game, and that's what I want to leave with, the audience, that you need to find a way to invest and make your money work for you, and by the means of compound interest, you can have, that benefit.
I know something that is always on people's mind, like when you invest your money in something, you want a timeline as to when you must see your gains. Now, I would like it to, if you could explain to us, like when you make an investment, how soon can you look forward to actually see the benefit of this investment?
Now, we're talking about investments in what exactly? Investments in real estate, mutual funds, fixed assets.
Let's say the real estate market, because that's an avenue that you actually put in your money into. So let's say something like real estate.
I think that the real estate market is actually doing pretty decent in Trinidad. When you look at the developments all over Trinidad, you look at the rural areas or suburbans, or even the boroughs, you see developments happening. So I would think that that's actually a really good industry. And with real estate, you actually can, gain, 50 to 100% of your investment over a period, I would say 5, 10, 15 years. But again, it's according to what it is or how big the project is. I would say, I have read many books on real estate, and I've listened to many speak on real estate. And for those out there that, wants to develop their real estate portfolio, I would say, start with 1 or 2 to 4 apartments. Start small, rent it, and that rent obviously will help subsidize, your loans that you would have initially taken out to build that property. I would say it's probably one of the leading investment opportunities that there is, and you can actually earn, or realize your investment over a shorter period of time, than more liquid investments, such as, stocks and bonds and mutual funds. So I think it's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
I think everyone should try to delve in, that aspect of investing. Even if it is you buy a standalone unit, like a house situation on a 5,000 square foot piece of land, you rent it out, or you even buy low, flip, fix up, sell it. I think a lot of persons are doing that, ensuring that as a means of another source of income.
Okay. Is there any bit of advice you would like to leave with us before we close?
Yes, I would definitely say that it's never too late to start. I would say that no matter what age you are, if you are listening and you are attending, school, whether it be secondary or tertiary level education, it's never too early to start. And even if you have just retired, or even if you are listening and you have underutilized cash in the bank and you're wondering what can you do with it, and you're too nervous or too anxious to delve into, investing into mutual funds or your own business or property, I will tell you that you can't lose. It's something that could actually develop your personal well-being, and it's always good to do something that can make a difference for yourself and for your family. Having a second source of income is always a plus. In these times, try not to bad spend, as the Chinese would say. Try not to make risky investments unless you are a risk taker. Right now, tighten your belt. We know that places are gradually becoming more available for probably dining, drinking, and stuff like that. Obviously, any kind of funds that you spend now should be funds after you would have invested in, any of these financial instruments. This shouldn't be money that is taken before, paying off a loan or paying a car notes or investing in your own business. We are now going into the new fiscal 2022. Now it's Christmas. I am not sure how the economy would perform in this last few weeks. I know a lot of persons are really holding strain until 2022. That's what I hear on the ground. I would say, if you don't need to spend, I think you should actually save and try to invest until until things become a bit more regularized and that, the economy gets a bit more buoyant. Yeah, and I think that's it.
Thank you so much for taking your time to join us today, and we hope to have you again.
I appreciate being here, and thanks for the opportunity.
No problem.
All right, bye-bye.